Well, I start working with plants in school times. I choose biochemistry because I'm interested in the mechanisms how life functions. So how is life organized by molecules?
Well, I think I've always had an interest in fungi from my undergraduate studies on and through my PhD and now, because they're so different from us. They experience their environment in radically different ways from us because they are lines, they are linear organisms, so they actually simultaneously can experience a very wide range of environmental conditions and have to integrate them somehow.
I was always interested in ecology already in school, and then I studied biology. I was one of the biology students who were really eager to go out to the field, look at insects and plants, so a real field ecologist. And later on I also got introduced in all the molecular methods that we have available today and enjoy most this combination.
When we looked into the detailed mechanism, we were surprised when we learned how close the molecular mechanism from a plant to defend itself is to the human mankind when we defend ourselves.
We are studying how organisms without a nervous system, how they are responding to stress when they have experienced a prior stress. So we are asking, does this prior experience of a stress prepare them for better coping with later stress? We are doing this with organisms without nervous systems, and these are plants, fungi and bacteria.
We are interested in studying bacteria for two reasons. First is we want to unravel general principles, and bacteria have the huge advantage of being fully characterized genetically. They're easy to handle, they have a very short generation time. So within a days of experiment, you can study a lot of generations. The other thing is we are interested in insects and how they resist bacteria. All organisms interact constantly with bacteria. Our skin is covered with bacteria. We have as many bacterial cells in our gut as we have our own cells. So bacterial interactions with hosts are very, very important.
A fungus basically consists of a collection of lines. So if you just imagine you are an organism that consists of a collection of lines, and you have to constantly integrate environmental cues and translate them into physiology, which is basically fungal behavior. And so in this project we are really looking at how fungi can integrate cues from the environment with respect to temperature into an output, which is how they grow and how they behave.
We are looking at how plants respond to the eggs of an herbivore and whether this changes its response to the larvae. We do know from very many plants that they actually have the ability to respond to an insect that is eating on it, and that they produce, for instance, toxic compounds, or they can also have physical means how they defend. After we have discovered that this American tobacco plant is able to defend better against the larvae that are feeding on the plant when they experience the egg deposition by the mother moth that laid its eggs on there before, we are now interested to see how this changes in the responses are mediated, which genes are activated and do this change.
In this collaborative research center, we're really after priming as a general response across all kinds of groups of organisms. This priming seems to be fairly widespread among microbes in general. And we found that if organisms are basically warned with this initial stimulus, they can respond up to 9-fold better to a subsequent potentially damaging stimulus, that triggering stimulus. And so I think our project is quite essential for that message, because it greatly enhances the external validity of the Collaborative Research Center as a whole. That is the extent to which findings can really be extrapolated to other organism groups.
Obviously, we have a variety of different, very interesting research programs which also need a variety of different skills. We have an active graduate school program where students learn about scientific concepts, methodology, but also so-called soft skills like the writing of publications and so forth.
The graduate school has, on one hand, an obligatory program, so it is a series of lectures and practical coursework in the different labs of participating groups. In addition, we have a summer school with guests, internationally guests, often invited also by the PhD students. In addition, PhD students participate in university seminar series, but also in meetings specially organized by the program. Incoming students are from all over the world, so we have students obviously from Germany and within Europe. We have students from America, so from Mexico or from Panama, but we also have students from Asia and from China.
What is the role of the age of organisms for being primed? How is information that has once been stored, how is this stored or forgotten? Which are the ecological conditions that make an organism storing the information? Future PhD students should of course have high interest in our topic, should be highly engaged, should have a solid knowledge of biology. This means of both molecular biology, biochemistry, but also on ecological questions. They should speak English fluently and should have innovative ideas, should be creative.
The university here on campus already has a lot of core facilities, and that's going to improve because we're currently building a big research building with core facilities for high-end microscopy as well as for microfluidics, where you can grow cells, organisms in very controlled conditions and very small volumes, which opens up a whole new field of research. We have genome facilities here on campus, and we have proteome metabolomic facilities on the campus in Potsdam. So for probably almost everything a PhD student who starts can think of in terms of technological approaches, we'll have something here.
My general advice to PhD students is to make up their mind what they're really interested in. And if they're interested in our topic, that is priming, then it's the best place they can be to study this, because they have the chance to combine from biochemistry, molecular level, to ecology and field studies. And within that framework, they can still focus on their topic of most interest. Within the teaching, they get the entire program, so they get an excellent overview over different topics, and with all the soft skills also provided within the program, I think they are trained really well for the market.